All right, so I am doing my 2 experiments to to prove what gravity is and explain it how a kid would understand. The other one I want to say is electromagnetism and actually might be strong or nuclear at the same time. So the first experiment, I have my Pepsi bottle over here. And in this Pepsi bottle, I have filled it with water, as you can see. And there's a hole in it if I squeeze at the bottom. So first, what gravity is. Gravity, it's significant at that microscopic level, and it has, and it is actually what keeps us on the ground and holds all those celestial objects like planets and solar systems and galaxies together. So what this experiment's going to do is it's resistive air pressure in the bottle. So as you can see, the bottle is not leaking unless I squeeze it. It's not leaking at all. There's a hole right there, which I already showed you. I have to squeeze it for the water to come out. But if I release that air pressure that's holding all that together, hopefully I won't squirt my computer. Gravity forces it all out, if you can see. So I'll close it back up, and that air pressure is tight again. So that way the force of gravity doesn't push it out the bottom. It picks up speed as gravity is introduced, and the air pressure is introduced, which is what gravity is. So right now it's resisting that air pressure because I still have the cap on the bottle. Unless I take it off, then gravity forces the water out of the bottle out of that little hole I put in there. And in case that's what gravity holds us all together. That's what I was trying to get to that point. All right, so like I said, I'm gonna do a second experiment because it asks for us to describe 2 of them as a 11-year-old would understand them, and I homeschool my kids. So the one I was gonna do I thought was just electromagnetism, but I think it's also strong or nuclear force also, because it's a balloon experiment with water. So everything is made up of matter, and matter is made up of atoms, which combine to form molecules. And in those atoms, they're made up of protons, neutrons, and in this experiment, what ends up happening is the electrons end up reacting. So, and those protons and neutrons are stuck together in the nucleus of the atom. So those electrons, since they're so tiny, they're flying around, they need that force to help them react. So what ends up happening, those atoms are made up of elements. And water is made up of hydrogen and oxygen. So actually 2 hydrogens and 2 oxygens. And the oxygen is the one that's negatively charged, and the hydrogen are more positively charged. So with the water, it being a liquid and more free moving, and it pretty much moves in any direction. When you hold a negatively charged like balloon, I'm gonna end up rubbing it against my clothes. It might look a little weird to show you what ends up happening. But the comb ends up drawing the water closer because the negative charge is like attracted to the positive charge in the water because the positive's overruling the negative charge of the oxygen. So I was going to show you that they're drawn to one another, but also an electromagnetism that can be drawn away from each other, like if you had two magnets that were the same negative and negative or positive positive, they draw away from each other. So with this balloon experiment, it's going to draw to the water, but I have to charge it up a few times so you can see it. So give me just a second. I'm going to move the camera over here to here. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. So I'm going to rub it on my shirt because it worked. I checked. Turn the water on just a little bit so you can see. All right, so I don't know if you can see, but the water moves slightly as I move it back and forth. It draws itself towards it because of the negative and the positive are drawn towards each other, like a negative and positive parts on the all right. So that is, I believe that that's both electromagnetism and the strong or nuclear, because they both explain each other with this experiment, and they both kind of combine to each other. So that's my assignment. Thank you.